and that's the interest that these other people have in the country, right?
Yeah.
And it will still continue recurring if the negotiations, go back to the table.
The reason why I was saying that it's M23 was created in 2009 in Goma in UC Hotel. It was originated from a group called CNDP. In the agreement, they say that they are supposed to remain near the borders because that is where a group of people are living and they are being marginalized. In Congo, we have more than 400 tribes. Wow. We don't have majority, we don't have minority. How can you come and tell someone that these people are being marginalized? There is no majority, there is no minority, and from 2009. In the agreement, they said they are going to protect their people, but M23 is a group of so many people from so many backgrounds and tribes. So how can you tell a central government that you as a soldier, you are going to remain with these people because you want to protect them? And as soon as you are not happy with whatever is going on,
then rebels come in.
The same people, they were in the military. Like in 2009, there was an agreement that they are going to be integrated into the loyal forces of the DRC, the military of the DRC. And in 2012, for no reason, we saw them going to the bushes and taking guns. And now it's where the external forces comes in because they need people from inside. Yeah, you cannot equip animals and think that they are going to fight. You need people who are there with their own reasons. They want to turn against the government. You fund them, you equip them, and you give them men. Because there was a report from United Nations expert talking about external forces. I don't want to mention a country, but there is, it's all over. You can search more about it. Yeah.
Okay, and I want to ask. Let me ask you, Daniel, just a continuation of what you were saying. This particular rebel group or the formation that's at the border and the community that they're protecting. I understand from what we've read in the online blogs and what other journalists are saying is that this is a community from Rwanda that came from Rwanda, right? And that's why there's the allegation that M23 is being backed by Rwanda. I know you're very careful in mentioning countries, but it's there. So, it's the allegation that they're supporting, and the president came out and said they're not supporting. President Kagame said they're not supporting the rebels. But the problem is that they still want to have control over the border. That's what they want. And at any instance where something goes wrong, you have attacks in the country. So that alludes to something, right? And that's one of the things that are there. But are there any other external forces that we're talking about where other countries are backing the M23, against Congo?
I see. Okay, so first of all, about what you said on the president of Rwanda, as you said, him denying any responsibilities. My response to that would be, politically speaking, he will never. Even if they are caught red-handed, he will never accept it. That's the game of politics. You never take the blame. I'm not sure if you have ever seen any politician taking the blame. They never do that. So that's beside the point already. So we can't really discuss about that. He said he is not responsible. Well, that's what he said. So now on the other side about is there any other forces, my response to that would be, the truth of the matter is, as I told you, a lot of people have personal interest in Congo. So it's easy to believe that definitely other people could be backing whoever is pushing this motive, definitely. But as I told you, we should look at this problem from different angles, but as I told you,
what angle should we look at it from?
Let me put it in perspective, okay? let's use examples. I feel like I'm kind of graphic in my memory, so I love representing things so that I can explain things easily. Okay, let's imagine, as I told you, the root cause definitely at the end of the day, we're going to trace it back to minerals in Congo, because I'm sure that if Congo didn't have what it has right now, we would not have these problems. That's the truth about it.
True.
We won't have it. Because it's not about hate. It's not like we are hating on people. It's not like Congolese are known to be very welcoming and warm people, definitely.
Yeah.
Everywhere they go around the world.
That's
Even
true.
in Kenya, I'm not sure that Kenyans can actually come outside and say Congolese are terrible people. I'm not really sure about that. So definitely it's about the minerals, okay? And whatever narrative and whatever excuses other people are using to actually come and steal it, okay? They're going to form it in a way that they want. But for you just to understand the way it is so that you know exactly, a lot of people would have personal interest into backing whoever is causing trouble in DRC.
Yeah.
Think about it this way. Imagine a beautiful lady who has everything that men wants. Take the lady and put her, let's say, in community prison. What are the chances of that lady getting out of that prison untouched?
Very
It's a simple
little.
question, right?
Yeah.
That it's close to none, like it's almost impossible. That's how you should see DRC. It has everything that everybody wants, literally everything. So to say that it's about tribes or anything, that's literally that's why
It's
I told you
false information.
false information, because that's besides the point.
Okay.
And that's where they are trying to lead people into start discussing one tribe against 400 tribes plus, one people against the other one. This is the thing, okay? I think when if we can boil all this down to one single aspect about being Africans, this is the thing. I'm sure for any mother who can listen to me saying this will understand what I'm trying to talk about. If your sons are fighting, they will fight and everything, but they will never kill each other. If one other person comes from outside and give them guns, they will kill each other.
Definitely.
So basically, we should stop seeing that. We should stop talking about the brothers who are fighting and start looking for who is giving them those guns.
Okay.
Let's start looking for that person, okay? That's one. And then let's also go down and look for why did that one brother accept the guns against the other one. So those are the real questions to be asking right now. I'm not the right person to answer them because I don't have the right political background, the right, I don't know how to say it, to phrase it, I don't have it. But those are the right questions. Who is giving the guns? Who is funding this? Okay?
Yeah.
And the person who is being funded, why are they accepting it?
To be funded.
Okay? And then it's a lot of countries, okay? And don't even think like it's, because it, at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense. That's my problem.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Whatever, because this is the thing, okay? I believe in deals. As I told you, I'm an entrepreneur. I really believe in the art of the deal. I truly believe in it. And let me tell you one thing that is totally true. Facts. If we go by the deal, okay, and if we go on the table and discuss economically, financially, on how to get those minerals out of DRC, we sell them at the correct price and everything, okay? Let DRC deal with its own corruption, let them deal with their leadership and everything. But if at all we establish that platform where the minerals out of DRC are traded correctly, okay, we make sure, because if you go online right now, you're going to find a lot of nonsense about those minerals. Let me leave alone the war, let me leave alone the political side, let me talk about the minerals for just a few seconds, okay? In Rwanda, they right now they're listed as the most, the biggest exporter of coltan in the world. A lot of like talks have been going like on the internet everywhere.
Yeah.
But one question was asked, take us where those mines are in Rwanda, nowhere to be found.
Okay.
And then now that's what I told you. Let's start asking the question, or who is funding this? Because again, if they are the biggest exporter, why are they selling those stuffs? Who is buying them? And at all, if you know about the mineral game, this is what happens. I can buy, and legally speaking, even if you go to a bank right now with 1 kg of gold, you place it at the Central Bank of Kenya for them to buy, they will only ask you one question: where did you get it from? There is a letter that there is a paper, a certificate that you need to have
that traces
you are
it.
exactly
where
to
it's
where.
coming from.
So now, did they whoever bought it from Rwanda, did they ask them where they got it from? Did they care to go and check at all if this were actually mining this stuff? So you understand, as I told you,
Okay.
it's a lot of questions to be asked here. So you understand, like if we keep on going deeper and deeper, the problem is bigger than us right now. It's way bigger.
Okay.
So I think we can only talk about how it's impacting students.
This is something, yeah, and we're getting to how it's actually impacting students, but we wanted to know, to have a good idea of what is happening in Congo, and you've really put it well. You have to know who's giving the gun to the brother and why is the brother receiving it in the first place. Yeah. So now, just to understand, you come from Goma and you come from Bukavu. And Goma is in the North Kivu.
North Kivu. 2 weeks ago.
And yours is South Kivu. And this is where everything is happening currently.
Taken on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday. No, Sunday.
South Kivu was taken on Sunday. North Kivu like
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So all these areas have been...
They are down right now.
Are down currently. Wow. Now, how is that affecting students?
Okay, it's affecting students emotionally and financially, because when you're a student, you are depending on your home to finance your life here, your studies and everything. So now imagine in a city where there is no bank, there is no economical activity apart from those who can go to shambas and take some things to eat. Shops have been looted. It's war. It's not a game, two boys running. No, it's war. Shops have been looted. Banks, they are not operating, because for a commercial bank to work, they need the central bank. The central bank is not operating. With all that combined, even ATM have been looted. So people, they don't know where to get money from. You are here, and for 3 days when M23 was taking Goma, we stayed for like 3 days with no communication with home. Okay. And there was an urban fight between M23 and the Congolese Defense Force. We were informed that they are fighting within the city. They are shelling bombs everywhere. And you don't know where it will land. You are not communicating with your family. Like, you're just there. It's like they're in a different world. And after 3 days, after I got to communicate with the family, they told me, like, it's horrible. It's horrible. We had the report from the Red Cross, which say that there was more than 3,000 people dead.
Oh no!
In 3 days.
And this is just in Goma.
In Goma, within 3 days.
Oh no!
If we want to talk about the numbers, we are between 6 to 10 million since 1998. Oh. Can you imagine that? If Kenya today has around 50 million people, minus the 10 million.
That is insane.
That is more than Nairobi population for now, I think.
Absolutely.
So financially and emotionally, imagine you are going to a class, you don't know whether your parents are going to wake up tomorrow, or you don't know, they don't have food, they don't have electricity, they don't have network, they are cut of the rest of the world. You cannot concentrate. Yeah. Beside that, okay, most of us, we are receiving our allowances at the end of the month, and that is the right time where M23 took Goma. So can you imagine, you're expecting something to happen, you're expecting to pay your rent, or I don't know, to buy your stock in the house, and all of a sudden there is no communication, you cannot receive anything, and even after they take the city, you cannot receive anything because there is no banking operating there.
Yeah, the economic activities have
been
shut. Yeah.
They're down. Now imagine you are in a foreign country. Okay, I know we can say we have friends here, but the majority of the Congolese who are in Kenya studying, they're from Eastern DRC. And Goma and Bukavu are the leading cities
in Eastern DRC.
Now imagine, it's like more than 60% of Congolese students in Kenya right now
are being affected.
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's so hard. It's so hard. I'm also affected by that, but we are surviving. We are. I'm not trying to say that we are used to that, because it's not a good thing being used to conflict, because it's a bad thing. At a moment, it will be normal for some people, and whether it's there or not, you'll be just okay. And some are seeing themselves getting into that, like the people called Wazalendo who are fighting alongside the the National Army. They are just young men like me and Daniel here. They're between 18 and 30 years. They've been living since they were born. They've been seeing war. Like, you cannot stay for 1 week without conflict, without people being killed. And at the end, they said, we are tired. Since we are all exposed to this since we were born, let's do it then the right way. Let's join the government and fight these people who are fighting us during 3 decades, almost 3 decades now. Yeah, that is the consequence of being used to something like a conflict, because you're not scared anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you've been seeing people getting shot like
every other day, so
exactly.
it becomes a norm.
And when it becomes a norm, it means you're not scared. Like, whatever or whenever it happened, you're just okay with it. And the majority of the people who got killed into Goma, they were young people. We saw them. Okay, today we have the advantage of social media, and this is another consequence of what is going on in Congo. If we have all these phones here, the minerals are coming from Goma. That's coltan that Daniel was talking about. It's the one making these phones, laptop, even some material to build these electric cars. They're coming from Eastern DRC. We saw soldiers between 18 and 25 years. They were the majority there. And those Wazalendo, the people I'm talking about, you know Wazalendo, the meaning in Swahili is the same meaning. They're between 18 and 25 years. They were the one paying with their lives, trying to protect the people from Goma. But yeah.
It's sad to see young people having forced to fight, you know, for their country. They could be doing other things, but because of the situation, now they are forced to fight for their country, and they die very young. It's quite sad. And you've also mentioned the emotional torture that it does to you being outside the country. I also want to hear from you, Daniel. How is this affecting you?
So, first of all, just to emphasize on what he was saying, getting bad news from far comes with, let's say, it resonates almost 10 times worse than what it is. So, for example, you're here in Kenya, you hear that your parents back home right now, they can leave the house. Actually, for me, what actually happened is that I remember when the war started, my father was actually in Goma. So we live in Bukavu. My father is in Goma. So you understand that your father is far away from your house right now, like home. So, and then he goes off for 3 days. You have no idea of where he is, like for 3 days. You don't know where he is. So it's total chaos right now, okay? And then I think we got to hear from him, I think a week after, because where he was, connection literally was bad. At some point, they cut electricity, so he didn't have even a way to charge his phone. But you know, he made his way back to the city. Let's say in a way that was good, but deep down you get to understand that for other people it might have been worse, totally. And that's exactly what he said. Like, emotionally, psychologically, it's not a good place to be in.
It's a terrible place. Have there been students who had received bad news from when they're on this side of, unfortunately, their loved ones passing on in this conflict? And what happens? You know, because now they can't go with the situation. Or can they?
I don't know if I can add something. I'm the chair of apart from ADEC, I'm also the representative of the Congolese student in Koya Catholic University of Eastern Africa. We had cases of people who their loved ones have been bombed the very first day of the conflict. So they got to get information before the internet was shut down, and it was a very bad thing to see, like, there is nothing you can do. You did not wish that to happen. I think it was a grandmother with a 3-year-old kid. They were bombed inside the house. And but it's not only that. Some people, some students here currently are seeing the possibility of going back home instead of staying here because it's a lot of pressure on them.
Really?
There is no way you are going to stay here. You are not receiving anything from home. you don't have a job here, for some entrepreneurs like Daniel, they can.
He's at a better place.
Yeah. They,
Yeah.
they can remain here.
Mm-hmm.
But for some, it's actually very bad. I even have a friend who I was talking to him yesterday, and he was telling me he was in Nakuru actually going back to Goma, because here it's tough, and he prefers to going back home and to stay with the family during this difficult time, because there is no benefit of him staying here if he doesn't see anything within a few days. He prefers going back home and stay with the family. Talking about the family that was facing the consequence of this by losing some of their family members. It's tough, and when we were having conversation in the group, even in my DM, it's actually a family of okay, there are 3 here in Kenya and 2 are in Kwea. They were telling me that they cannot support this anymore. They cannot even. It's hard. It's hard for them. You can imagine you are losing a grandmother and a cousin of 3 years or something around that. For something that they don't know even the meaning of this. It's meaningless for us. Like why? And not talking only about the student here. The more than 3,000 people who died in Goma, they have families. They might not be into our community, let me say in here in Kenya or here in Nairobi, but probably elsewhere, maybe Machakos. They have people.
Yeah.
I was shocked when I saw a video of an hospital being bombed, a maternity being bombed with babies.
My goodness.
With babies. Now, can you imagine such situation? It's a very bad thing. It needs to come to an end.
Absolutely, and I can imagine, you know, the feeling of helplessness. You know, your family, some of your family members have died. You do not even have the finances probably to get to go and bury them in some circumstance. You know, it's quite unfortunate. But let me ask, how is the situation currently in now in your place, Bukavu?
Bukavu, yeah.
Yeah, which was recently intruded. How is the situation, and how is the situation in Goma? Let me start with you.
So in Bukavu right now, definitely there is no activities right now. Everything has been shut down. No schools, no banks, no market, nothing.
Including the internet?
The internet, right now we have internet, but I think we have not experienced what Goma experienced, but definitely we also have families in Goma. So the internet is still there in Bukavu right now. Electricity in some areas, they still have electricity, water in some areas as well. But definitely before we get to Wednesday, that won't be the case very soon, because there is nothing to, there is nobody who is there to keep up with like to keep the machines running and all that. So it's quite difficult. And just to explain how these 2 cities actually work, Goma and Bukavu, they need each other. One city needs the other one to function. The way they work actually, just in a simple way, Goma feeds Bukavu and Bukavu funds Goma in a way. That's how those cities work, okay? So if one is down, the other one can operate. But now imagine both of them are down. So it's a big crisis. It's going to take us weeks actually to bounce back. It's going to be a lot, for sure.
Okay. And how is Goma?
Yeah, Goma, okay, after the tragedy that happened 2 weeks ago, right now we are in a city where there are some Wazalendo who still have guns. They are terrifying people. And there's some people with bad intentions. During the invasion of Goma, they got a chance because Soja they were just releasing their guns. They were dropping them everywhere. So a person with a bad intention could pass across and take the gun. And now, since there is no government, or okay, let me say the rebels are the one administrating the city, I'm not sure that they are well organized to a point where they can secure the whole city. Now you can imagine, with hundreds of people with guns and no economical activity, even a good boy let me use that word. A good boy can be tempted to do something.
Yeah.
We are in a city of more than 1.5 million of people in a normal day. If you add the thousands of refugees around Goma, surrounding Goma, with no work, no money floating, no economical activity, people are going to starve. And when people start that time of...
It becomes survival for the fittest.
Exactly. Now, can you imagine the people living in that place?
Oh.
It's very normal for someone to come to your house at night and threaten you to take whatever they can so that they can feed themselves.
And their family.
That is the situation right now. Now, the families are there because that's their homes. Where else they can go? Where else they can go? Yeah. So it's, we can, okay, let's say there is no fight in Goma right now because it has been taken to South Kivu. But within Goma right now, the situation is not that good.
Chaotic.
It's chaotic. People have not, you know, gotten back on their feet yet.
Exactly.
And people are struggling to survive, so they can turn against each other just for the sake of that. Oh, that is quite unfortunate. But let me ask, as students in Kenya, have you received any form of support from the Kenyan government? Is there a way that you can be supported? I know you're not a student currently, but let me ask you before I go to you. Let me ask you, what supports would you want?
Personally, to be honest, there is no support I want from the Kenyan government or any other institution. It might be the international community, it can be the United Nations. What we, the people of Congo, want, and particular from the Eastern DRC, we want peace. We don't want a ceasefire. We don't want to be helped. We don't want this or that. What we want is peace. And we know that war, since it's going on, there are people funding it. They're the one whom should stop funding that so that people can remain at peace. We're having people displaced from their homes. We are having people starving right now. We are having people burning their beloved ones. What we want is peace. There was a petition that was written from the association to the office of the president, to the United Nations as well, to the embassies of the United Kingdoms, of the superpowers, let me use that word, to show them that we are tired of this, and we know that somehow they know better than us what is going on because they have reports from independent commissions and stuff. They know more than us what is going on. They know very well that there is no whatever excuse that those people are using to justify killing people. I don't know how can you justify killing more than 6 million people to, I don't know, let me just not use the word protect, just because you want to show the world or to protect an ethnic group. I don't know if it can justify. I don't know if I've seen, since I was born, an evidence. Let me add something I forgot to mention before. I was born and raised in Goma. Since I was a kid, I remember in my high school, because that is where okay, I was so conscious. I've never been into a class where I'm not sharing it with someone from the neighboring countries. They're literally coming from the other side of the borders.
Goma is just at the border.
It's at the border. Like that thing of saying there is hate, there is whatever, it's just there to
push a narrative.
To push a narrative so that they can be justified to be doing whatever they are doing. Yeah.
Okay.
We expect from the government of Kenya, since the president of Kenya is the current chairman of the East African Community, and DRC is part of East African Community. I don't really understand why, with all these evidences of external forces, DRC as part of the East African Community, we cannot get a solution to this that has been there for almost 3 decades. It's almost 3. I was born in 1999. So literally,
You were
I was
born
into this,
into it.
and now I'm 25 years
into it.
old, and it's still going on. So literally,
Okay.
if you want me to highlight my life, I would just tell you I was born into war, and I was raised into war, and it's not something funny.
You know, it's
Yeah.
not something to be proud of.
Imagine.
You know, yeah.
We don't want any kind of help, because that's another valid reason of the ongoing conflict. We want ceasefire. We want humanitarian aid in DRC, so that the United Nations can sell their pictures to the rest of the world to be funded. No, we don't want that. We want the end of the conflict. We don't want this or that. Seeing some people bringing, I don't know, maize. We have food in Congo.
You have it. You can do it yourself. You just need
We
the
just need
war
peace.
to end.
We just need peace. We don't want any kind of aid.
All right.
And sometimes people are not thinking further than whatever they are thinking about. Do you know that DRC itself, leave alone the minerals and stuff, in agriculture, if that land is used correctly, we can feed the whole of Africa. I'm not talking about something I don't know about.
Easily.
It is rich.
Yeah, let's leave alone. We say we forget about the minerals. We are just going to do agriculture here. We're going to plant maize and any kind of thing. DRC can feed the whole of Africa. But right now, as we are talking, people are starving in Goma.
It's been crippled to that extent.
Imagine.
It is quite sad. And what you have said, because someone was asking me, what people, you know, the kind of solution you want is an end to the war, and not to have the people funding the war, and the people you said who are funding are the people who have interest in what is in DRC, right? Sure. Let me ask you, Daniel, what is it that I don't know how to really put it, but what is it that the governments can, you know, we have the blocks, different blocks supporting, others are with, you know, Rwanda, others are with DRC. How can we just have, as a way of concluding, them coming and saying, let's find a solution to this? And you alluded to it earlier, saying, find who is funding it. And why they have accepted to be funded, right? How exactly can they do this? Though I know you said you don't really have the capacity for that.
To understand.
But
so, the point is going to be based to the best of my knowledge. The little that I know about economics and politics, let me say. Okay. So we're talking about the East African bloc. Okay. I think, first of all, this comes, I'm going to be, let me say, arrogant enough to say that it's one of the strongest blocks that we have in Africa. Really, really strong, okay? The problem that comes in this block, I'm going to also say that is not accepting, or it's a game of not taking Congo to its actual potential. They undermine it. And they limit Congo to only minerals, and that is what the fight is. And then everybody just look at that. Do you know that in a way, as he mentioned, Goma is a volcanic soil. If you go down in everybody who did agriculture, is the richest soil ever, literally. You go in Bukavu with the temperature of Bukavu and everything, literally, you have a region where anything can grow in that region, literally. Whatever you want to put it can grow in there.
Wow.
We have the plain of Ruzizi. When you go to Uvira and everything, like literally anything that you want can grow in that region, okay? So I feel like, first of all, it's not understanding Congo for what it can actually help the bloc achieve. They're only focusing on the minerals, and that's a lot of, it's a lot of things going on. So if the focus, like it's on agriculture, if the focus on investment, you know, economically, and I've been in a lot of meetings where I phrased it the exact same way. Congo is like a virgin land. Believe me, in terms of infrastructures, the way you see Nairobi right now, when you go to Congo, it's going to look a little bit odd. You're going to have a culture shock. There are a lot of things that are normal in Kenya, right? Let's say Nairobi. That, quite frankly, on this eastern part, up to now, not yet, okay?
Okay.
And so it gives a chance and a room for a lot of investors to invest in that region. And all that our governments have to do, it's very, very simple. They need to sit down, okay, to just go through the process that I told you about. Who is funding this? The person who is accepting the funding, why are you accepting it? Why are you doing that? Okay? And then we turn the table, look at the other side. If you refuse the funding, aren't you seeing that you can actually get more? Believe me, right now, they can get more from DRC without the war than they are getting with the war.
With the war.
Believe me, because this is the thing. If you are stealing from my shop and you're getting, I don't know, 2 bob, 3 bob, if I open the door for you, we discuss, okay, normally, you're going to get literally more than you're stealing. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of blood. It's a lot of meetings. It's a lot of, I don't know. It's a lot
even
of
to
stuff.
self. Yeah.
I just feel like we're dealing with super selfish people. That's one. Two, we're dealing with people who are short-sighted. Like, I don't know how to phrase it, but they're only looking at what's now. Because what I think we should also talk about, not the impact that this war is having right now in the future generations, okay? Because this is the thing.
Okay.
If you kill my mother, my father right now, you are forcing me to live with a revenge in me. I'm definitely going to come back for you. That's what they are forcing these people to live like.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult in the future years, even if this war ends right now, to start preaching to people in that region to love each other. It's going to be difficult.
Because they've brought that.
You can't just come, you
people.
kill someone's person, and then tomorrow morning you come back, you're like, you know what,
peace,
let's love
your
each other.
neighbor, yeah.
It's difficult. So what people are doing, because we have leaders that need to understand this, whatever decision they take right now, I loved it when the Mandamano was happening. I saw people who understood that the decision of the government right now is going to impact their future. Let's just say in Congo, the people we are up against as young people don't have tear gas, they have real guns. They don't have water to push you back, they have bombs. So you see, it's quite difficult to actually, as the youth, to fight against them. So it's all about for us just to raise up our voices and get them to understand that whatever they're doing right now, they are forcing us, first of all, to live with some hatred. We don't want that. We live, Congolese, I think we are the most, we hate stress. We literally hate, I think Nairobians, if you think you guys hate stress, go live with Congolese. We hate stress.
Okay.
We'll pay, we'll do anything for not to deal with it. But they're going to force these people to live that way. That's one. Two, they are trying to, like, it's a concept of an heritage. What heritage are you leaving to these kids? Do you really want them to keep on fighting? This thing has been going for 28 or something years now. Do you want them to keep on living that way? What are you really preaching as an African president? What are you preaching? Because we have people who are preaching about Africanism and all that, yet they are still implicated in this. Yet they are, because this is what we say, okay? If you keep quiet, you are accomplice. So all the people keeping quiet about this, who are like, I can't vote on who is guilty or not, literally makes you accomplice, literally. And then you're forcing these kids to live with that in their minds. You're literally forcing them to live that way. What do you want the future to look like? Basically, what you're doing right now is not going to go anywhere.
Okay.
Because if you keep the war in DRC, next you change the entire nation into refugees. Where do those people go? They're going to come here in Kenya, for example, let's say probably. Do you want to have like another something like that in Kenya? It's going to destabilize the entire country again.
Yeah.
It's pushing back the entire bloc, and we're going to keep on dealing with this and this. And then who says Congo is the last point? Because it's not the only country that has minerals. Go to Mozambique. Before you know it, go to South Africa. So are we going to keep on doing this?
Okay.
So we're going to get to the point where we destroy everything that the taxpayers' money is busy fighting for. Because we have president we are sending to big meetings. Who is paying for that?
The taxpayer.
It's a lot of money being spent on something that can be solved if people just stop being selfish and think about their kids. Sending your kids to the US to go live over there and leaving the rest of us here, literally is not really helping anybody. What country are we leaving after you? So that's what our leaders, first of all, need to understand, okay? To stop that selfish agenda that most of them have, to stop it. To think about the future of these people. What do they have in their hearts? What are they growing up with? Because I'm sure that if you go on the other side, if you talk, let's say, to the external forces, if you talk to those kids, I'm sure they also have a narrative in their head that has been preached to them. I'm sure on their side they know they are right about this.
Absolutely.
On this side of Congo, we know that they are killing our people. So how do you want these two people wanted to sit in one room and look at each other as brothers? You should keep doing what you are doing right now. It's time to end this stuff. We're in a situation where right now, if we don't unite, we're going to crack this entire thing very, very soon. It's going to happen.
Okay. Thank you very much, Daniel. That was very profound. From both of you, I've taken a lot. First, it's just to make it clear that there's no hatred between you and your neighboring brothers, right?
Zero.
You have lived together in peace. You said you studied in the same high school together.
Yeah.
There has not been any hatred. So whatever is being spread out there is false information from the media, and people actually need to know what's happening. And the thing is that the minerals are what people are after in DRC. They're not looking at the bigger picture. And what you're telling African presidents is that they need to look at this bigger picture. How can DRC benefit Africa as a whole, the whole continent? Sure. And what you need is peace at the end of the day. You don't want support. You don't want anything from the international community, just peace in DRC.
Simple.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for that. Let me allow you to give your social handles if you're free to give. Sure. And if in case you have something really small to say as we close on this. This is your camera again. Let me start with who? You. Jasmine.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. I'm grateful about you giving us this opportunity to speak out and to try to contribute on our way to the end of this meaningless war. What I can say is we need peace. I say it and I will repeat it again and again and again. Congolese are very nice people. We are so welcoming. We are so generous. We are, I don't know, let me not say that Congolese are the best people on this earth ever.
You just said it, so it's okay.
Allow me to say that. And that's probably the reason why we are going through whatever we are going.
Okay.
Yeah, from our behavior, from us being nice to anyone, we allowed people to come into our houses and to destroy the houses. We need peace so that we can contribute to the development of the entire region and the whole continent of Africa. As people are saying, expert in technology, myself, I'm in that area. Congo is the very, 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 let me say the top one that is holding the resources that are leading to the future of technology.
Technology, like I know China for sure gets a lot
Where do you think whatever the external, the superpowers or the big companies are using to the, I don't know, develop, it's coming from the DRC, but how are we like that? How are we the way we are right now? We need peace. We can contribute, as Daniel said, without going through war. There are better ways to get anything from whoever you want. I don't want to use the term Daniel used on a beautiful woman, but let me just let me borrow it from him. I think you don't have to force anything with anyone. You talk to them very nicely and they will be yours. My name is Jospin Kasereka. I'm the president of the Association of Congolese Students in Kenya, and we are so grateful for this opportunity, and we hope that the petition we wrote to the president, dear president, we urge you to intervene. You are the chairman of the East African community. You have the power. Let me say you have the power. As a chair, this is like a big house with so many rooms, and there is fight in one room. You have the power to intervene and to see whether it's going to an end. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Jospa. And I'm tempted to ask about that petition, but I understand that it's aligned to, asking for peace for DRC. All right, let me allow you to give your final remarks. Yes, that's your camera. In very few words, tell us your final remarks.
So I would like actually to address the youth, either in Kenya, Uganda, anywhere in East Africa. Let's not get implicated in this war. It's not our war. We don't have to be part of it. Literally, we have better things to do. We have countries to build, we have futures to forge, we have families to break out of poverty. Getting involved in this is going to just cultivate a culture of war, of hatred in us, and nobody wants that, literally. We need collaboration, we need unity, we need peace, we need love. That's what we need to focus on. If I talk about the people in Kenya right now, and my friends and any other person out there, this is the right time for us to think bigger than what we're dealing with locally. In terms of its investment, let me speak on the business side. We have greater chances of investing in literally all these countries. Burundi is open for investment, Kigali, Congo, Bukavu, like literally everywhere, literally. So it's upon us to speak louder than what we are doing right now, to unite forces and speak to our people. Kenya did it, we can do it for the rest of this bloc. So I want to talk to the youth and help the youth in Congo also speak up and to make sure that their voices are heard, because right now, not that much. Let's say internet is not as powerful as it is in Kenya right now, so that could be one of the excuses. But we can still do it, we can still unite and build bigger things and better things than getting mixed up with this war. Thank you so much.
Okay.
My name is John Daniel Balika. That's actually the same name on Instagram, as long as they get to know how to spell them.
No, they will get it from the caption.
All right.
Thank you very much. I will try to pronounce your names right. That is Jo Daniel Balika.
I'll take that.
You'll take it, okay. And we've had also Jospa Kasareka. I've gotten it right, guys. Thank you for staying with us through this conversation. There's more coming your way. We've been talking about the impact of the DRC conflict beyond the borders, and Sakwa will be coming up with the next conversation. Stay with us.